For the last 2 years, we have watched every major platform that gamers actually use quietly hand over your data to government regulators without ever really telling you about it. Like Discord implemented mandatory age verification and then gave third-party safety monitors access pretty much to private user conversations. Xbox and PlayStation, well, they both have been quietly building pretty much permanent account tracking architecture directly into their hardware. And every single time, the justification was just the same two words: protecting children. That phrase has become like the universal skeleton key that governments use to force tech companies to install pretty much surveillance infrastructure into the products that you personally use every day. And almost every company caved the second a lawyer showed up. Almost every company, though. Because while all of that was happening, the New York Attorney General sent Valve pretty much a demand that they build a global tracking system for every single Steam user on Earth. All of them, like more than 130 million, not just New York users, like every user. But Valve, in their glory and standing up, they filed a motion to dismiss yesterday, and I want to go into that in today's video. So I want to be really clear about why this specific demand is pretty much different from the usual government pressure on tech companies, because this is not asking Valve to add like a terms of service checkbox or run an age pop-up. The New York AG wanted Valve to install location detection technology on every Steam account on the platform worldwide. Not to like catch criminals, not to stop like anything actually dangerous, just to catch like New Yorkers using VPNs. Like once they wanted to surveil over 130 million people globally just to find a handful of people in Manhattan. And on top of that, they wanted Valve to pretty much start like collecting significantly more personal data from every single user on the platform for expanded age verification, even though Steam already age verifies like through every payment method it uses. And Valve put out a rare public statement about this, and the language they use is pretty alarming when you actually sit down and read it. But they said that complying with these demands would require implementing invasive technologies for every user worldwide, not for New York users, for every user worldwide. And I also do feel like the gaming coverage has been so focused on like the whole loot box gambling debate that everyone completely buried that part. Like the AG did not want to just regulate like loot boxes. They wanted Valve to build like an entire surveillance system for like millions of people to comply with the laws of one singular US state. And Valve said that that deal would have been bad for users, bad for other game developers, and bad for their ability to innovate. So they took it to court instead of settling. Here's the thing though, Valve is not the only platform that has been getting these demands. Like Discord is rolling out mandatory global age verification in the second half of this year. Epic, Xbox, PlayStation, they have all been adding account verification layers and also identity check requirements over the last couple of years in direct response to exactly this sort of legislative pressure. And the pattern is always the same. Like government body sends a demand, platform runs the numbers, decides it is cheaper and just easier to just comply than to fight, implements the actual surveillance quietly, nobody makes a big deal about it, and users actually never find out it happened. Data policy just changes one day. And slowly across hundreds of these quiet decisions that never make headlines, the internet shifts from something that treats you as like a user to something that treats you more so as a person to be permanently monitored. What Valve actually did differently though is that they made the demand public. Like they published exactly what New York asked for, told everyone that it would be bad for users, and then filed a motion to dismiss. Like that transparency on its own is just genuinely rare because usually these demands happen in private negotiations and nobody outside the boardroom ever hears about them. You just wake up one day and like the data collection policy has changed, and good luck figuring out why. Like the fact that you knew this demand even existed is because Valve chose to tell you. Like most platforms, they would never tell you that. So Valve's defense is not just that loot boxes are not gambling. Like they are defending something that matters pretty much to anyone who has ever bought a digital game, a digital skin, just anything digital at all really. So the AEG lawsuit specifically targeted the fact that Steam skins can be traded and sold, and that they hold real monetary value that users can actually take out. And Valve's response to this is honestly one of the strongest defenses of digital ownership I have seen from any major company. They straight up said, and this is a direct quote, "We think that the transferability of a digital game item is good for consumers. It gives a user the ability to sell or trade an old or unwanted item for something else." Like, that sounds obvious, but it is actually a pretty radical position right now, because the entire direction of the tech industry for like the last decade has been making digital purchases non-transferable, non-refundable, and just locked to a single account on a single platform forever. Like, you do not own your Steam games the traditional way, but you do own the skins. Like, you can sell them, trade them, pull actual real money out of them. That is more genuine digital ownership than basically anything else in the industry right now. And a settlement the AEG wanted would have eliminated that entirely. So the same government action that want to surveil every Steam user on Earth also just want to strip away the most meaningful form of digital ownership available to PC gamers, both at the same time, wrapped inside a child protection lawsuit. Like, just make it make sense. Okay, so look, I'm not going to tell you that Valve is perfect or that the loot box conversation is not worth having. Like, the gambling argument has some real points behind it, and there are genuine concerns about like randomized reward systems, especially for younger players. And those those do deserve like an honest discussion at the end of the day. But none of that justifies building a global surveillance infrastructure for like millions of people, Steam users. Like, none of it justifies mass data collection from users worldwide to solve a problem that is technically specific to one American state. And the reason Valve refusing matters is not because they're some sort of crazy hero company, but it is because of what happens when nobody ever says no. When every single platform just complies with every surveillance demand without ever pushing back, the demands get bigger, the infrastructure gets more invasive, and the data collection just gets broader. And eventually the baseline expectation shifts from platforms collecting like the minimum data they need to platforms collecting everything they possibly can, because some government body might ask for it later. Like, we have already watched this happen in real time with age verification. What started as targeted bills in a few like states and regions, now like a complete global compliance race where every major platform is building out like verification systems simply because nobody wants to be the one company that did not. But Valve just proved that a tech company can say no to a government surveillance demand and just not immediately die. Like, that has not happened in a while. So yeah, that's it for this video. Drop a comment if you want. And yeah, I'll see you next time.